GameStop stocks have been on the decline for years, and over the past, I guess, 5 years, a bunch of the stores have been closing down because it's just not, seen as a viable business. It's in retail, and most retail stores are closing down because everything's becoming, uh, put on everything's on the internet now. You can buy all kinds of clothes and electronics, and you can download games. And speaking specifically about GameStop, it's a dying business because people aren't going to the stores to buy physical games anymore. They don't want these hard discs. They want to just go online, download a game, and now you have access to it forever. I believe, and well, in some cases, and you don't have to worry about your hard copy discs being lost or being broken. And so what happened was, these people on Reddit, I believe it's called Wall Street Bets, is the Reddit site that people were using. And basically on the site, people say that it's pretty much a joke, and that people jump on just to share crazy memes about the stock market and about investing and whatnot. And so it's like, it started off as this, like, kind of like, fringe, just this fringe group, or and now it's like, now there are over 2 million people that have subscribed to it, and it's because of this freaking story, how people were able to make so much money off of these stocks. What these wealthy big guys, big women, these wealthy people of power, what they decided to do was invest in short selling. And now short selling is a pretty interesting concept, and a lot of people think that it's kind of like crazy, and there really isn't any purpose to it other than people making a bunch of money. And it's just crazy. Like, I dug into it, and I don't want to, I want to spare you of the nitty gritty, but I can, refer you to videos if you're interested in learning more about like how it works. But what I, basically kind of like in basic terms, layman terms, short selling is you are basically placing a bet and hoping that the stock prices, or whatever stocks that you're using right now, are gonna decline in value. And so what they did was, in short selling, what you do is you don't even pay for the stock. You're basically borrowing the stock. What happens is they wait, and they're betting that the stock prices are going to decline in value. And once they reach a certain point, like let's say the stock the stock is now worth $5. What you do to make money is you then buy the stock back, buy a stock back. It doesn't have to be, I guess, from the same person. You buy a stock back at that price, and you're up. Like, you sold it for 10, and now you're buying it back for 5. So you have $5, and the idea is then you give the stock back to the broker that you borrowed the stock from. So that's what people have been engaging in. This is a quick, a way to make money if the stocks actually decline. You can actually lose an infinite amount of money by doing short selling. So you have to really know what you're doing. And so what happened was, these guys, they normally say sophisticated investors engage in short selling. So no, you shouldn't do it because you can lose a lot of money. And in fact, this is what happened to all these big shot people, these people that had all this money and that were engaging in short selling. They did short selling, and they put their bet was that the GameStop stocks would continue to decline. But in fact, they didn't, because all these people from the Reddit site, the Wall Street Bets Reddit page, they all kind of were like, you know what? We're going to send a message to these big corporations and to these hedge funders that, we are just as, we're investors, and we can, cause some change in the stock market as well. It's not just you. And so what they did was they bought the stocks and they held on to them, and the stocks basically went up. They became more desirable because after you borrow, if you're borrowing a stock, at some point you have to get that stock back and give it to the broker that you borrowed the stock from. So like all these kids, I say kids, but like everyday people. As far as I know, basically bought these stocks and were holding on to them and not selling them, and therefore the stocks were going up in value. So that's how you have this crazy story that GameStop stock went up from worth from a value of about $20 a stock to now $350 a stock. It's just crazy, and obviously people. And it's not to say that GameStop is, the writing is on the wall, and for GameStop, and it's a dead, a dead kind of thing. It's not a viable business because now they're kind of investing in, allowing people to kind of like download games. I didn't do that much research into how they're operating now, but it's very possible that GameStop will find some kind of way to thrive in this new economy. But yeah, so yeah, and we missed out, guys. I really wish I knew about this because, like I said, people made so much money. That guy turned $5,000 into a $47,000 profit, and then this other person invested, I believe $50,000, and he's a millionaire now. I think he's at $23 million, dollars. Right now, and I think he's continued. I don't know if he sold the stocks and collected his money, but if he were to do it right now, he would be able to. He would be well over. What happened was he actually sold some of the stocks, so he is a millionaire, but he's holding on to some of the other ones, and it's just like I said, it's a fascinating story. Like a lot of people are choosing not to sell the stocks because they basically want to send a message. These freaking investors, not, I don't want to necessarily demonize them, but this is, that's why people don't really like the stock market, because it really isn't an indication of how well the economy is doing and how well the everyday people, how we're all doing. It's basically, all this, you got all these loopholes and manipulation that people do all the time to kind of work the system and make money from the stock market, and typically you hear stories about, wealthy people just making more wealth from it. So it's really awesome to hear that, these everyday, Americans, these everyday people, I'm sure there are people from all over, that were on this Wall Street Bets Reddit and had invested. So there's some interesting angles that I like to address. Speaking on the political side, because that's kind of like where I kind of want to take this channel, is that Janet Yellen, the current United States Secretary of the Treasury, is kind of like in a very precarious situation because she's actually linked to one of the people involved in this case. Yeah, and so people it just seems like it makes more sense for her to kind of recuse herself from this and allow some other people within the department to kind of address the issue. And I didn't even tell you what the issue is. The issue is, so a lot of people were making money by doing this, and what Robinhood, one of the platforms that people typically use to, everyday people typically use to invest in the stock market, and they were using to invest in GameStop and GameStop stock and buy GameStop stock. They use Robinhood. That's how they are able to gain access to buying these things. Robinhood actually said that they couldn't, they disallowed people to actually buy GameStop stock right now, and people were outraged about it, and I would be too. Like, this is supposedly the stock market, so we should have access to it. And some people don't have money to pay brokers, for them to buy the stocks, and there's some other platforms that charge you a fee in order to have access to buying the stocks. So why this free service, Robinhood, even in its name, the whole concept of Robinhood is supposed to be about equalizing the playing field and helping the sticking it to the big guy and helping the little guy out. And in fact, it looks like it's a facade. And the funny thing is, I'm not gonna lie, like I dug deep into it to really understand why is it that Robinhood is cutting off access to people. And it's because supposedly one of the founders of Robinhood, or one of the investors, is actually, I'm sure probably many people involved with Robinhood are losing money, and I guess they had investments in GameStop, as well as AMC. I think that's another one that they're targeting, the movie theaters stock. Because you typically you use short selling, you use that tactic to use on stocks if the stocks are going down in value. Like all the dying businesses, these companies use short selling to target them. But like these guys on Wall Street bets, they're buying up the stock and causing the stock prices to shoot up, and then they're selling the stocks to the people to make money. So yeah, it's a very fascinating story. And another angle to the story. Yeah, so what I was saying was, I don't think it's right that Robinhood is able to cut off access, but understand why they are doing it, because it's their platform and their people are actually being they're losing a bunch of money. Like, I'm not gonna allow someone to use my platform if it's to my detriment. So I get the reasoning behind it, but I don't think it's fair. Maybe we need to regulate Robinhood and other sites that make it so accessible for us to gain access to the stock market and to engage in trading and whatnot. So and people have taken it to trial, or not trial. Well, they've taken it to court, and they want to hold Robinhood accountable to it, because it's not fair for you. Like, the stock market is supposed to be a free market. It's supposed to be a free market. So why are you disallowing people to buy the stocks that they want? That's what they're doing. And so if there were more rules and regulations, we would be able to kind of prevent this from happening. And it's just a beautiful story. I wish I was in on it. So I guess the moral of the story is learn as much as you can about stocks. Be responsible though, because supposedly, this is probably a fluke. It's probably not going to happen every day. It's not. It's probably a one in a lifetime type thing, because now all these hedge funders, all these people with massive money that engage in short selling know that, hey, I could be next. I don't want, so, it's kind of like one of the, I think Mark Cuban and Kevin O'Leary, massive investors and wealthy people, said that this is kind of a way for the everyday people to basically tilt the scales. It's a form of equalizing the playing field. Yeah. So I will definitely try to make more videos and kind of stay engaged with my community and kind of develop a community on this YouTube platform. But another thing I want to say is monopolies, they're here, and we need to break them up, because YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, like all these massive companies have so much power, and if you're removed from them, you essentially lose your platform, and there aren't really many alternatives, if not any. And so, I think we need to really do something about monopolies. So So if you want me to do more videos about this topic, or if you want to learn a little bit more about how short selling work, feel free to comment down in the comment section down below, and I'll make a video about it. So talk to you next time. Bye bye.